Welcome back to my little channel. Now, there are lots of problems in the world, but I thought I'd bring up an older one. Older one? Yeah, not that old. Let's talk about ISIS once again. Yeah, but ISIS has been defeated. No, no, ISIS hasn't been defeated. Now, ISIS has been defeated in such a way that, okay, militarily they don't really stand much ground anymore. But the thing with ISIS is that they're not new and they're not completely out of the blue. ISIS is an ideological situation. Does it make sense to call it a situation? Well, maybe not. The thing is, ISIS is brought forth by the ideology that springs forth ISIS. I'd rather not use the name, but I'm going to do it anyway. Islam brought forth ISIS because Islam looks for an Islamic caliphate. That's the whole thing with Islam. Now, there have been several caliphates throughout history, though only two at the same time. I mean, there's a Sunni caliphate and a Shia caliphate. But at this point in time, there wasn't a Sunni caliphate. So ISIS started one. And there are lots of Muslims, not all, hashtag not all, who want to see this caliphate happening. And for this caliphate to happen, Islamic law needs to be followed. Which means that non-Muslims do have a serious issue with this, or rather they should, because if history has taught us anything, it's that the life of a dhimmi is worth less. Worth less than what? Yeah, worth less than whatever you want to put up on the table. The life of a dhimmi is worth less, as in it has no intrinsic value. Are all Muslims like this? No, of course not. Seriously, of course not. But are they in favor of a caliphate? Are they in favor of Sharia law? If either of those answers is being answered with a yes, then yeah, we're in trouble. And unfortunately, Pew Research has shown a few years ago that 25% of the Muslims worldwide are indeed in favor of Sharia law. That means that 75% of them is not. So again, hashtag not all. But the ones that are a problem. They're not just a problem for non-Muslims, by the way. Muslims have to fear from these guys as well. Because if you're not a good Muslim, and these guys consider themselves to be good and everyone who's not them to be bad, if you're not a good Muslim has the right to basically see you as an apostate. And apostasy, according to the Quran, is a life-ending endeavor. Let's say it like that. So lately we've been hearing a lot of talk about what Europe and America and the Western countries need to do with their citizens that went to Syria to join ISIS. And when they thought ISIS was winning, oh yeah, no, they wanted to be in the caliphate. Now that it's lost, they're in camps. And people are talking about how they should be brought back to the Western world. And here I have a problem. The problem is not that they're Muslim. I know people will bring it like that. Maybe I brought it like that. The problem is not that they're Muslims. The problem is that they're Sharia complying Muslims that actually want to act out. Now there are plenty of Sharia compliant Muslims that still recognize that, you know what, these rules may be applying to me, but we shouldn't let them apply to others. But then there are the ones that say, oh no, you know what, these rules apply to the whole world, therefore automatically to non-Muslims as well. And there are actually people talking about how we should retrieve the citizens of Western European countries that went to join ISIS and that are now in camps, I'm not in favor of that. Now, don't get me wrong, I feel terrible for the kids that are suffering because of that. But having said that, there is a bigger problem. And that bigger problem is that those kids are already being indoctrinated. And I'm not sure if that indoctrination can be stopped. But don't forget that the whole concept of ISIS started from indoctrination. People from Europe and America and Australia went there before they got the extra indoctrination in those areas. They came from free Western countries to go and do what they did. So, if we then bring these people back, do we really think we have a chance to, re-educate them? Break the brainwashing? How the hell do we see this? Now, Sky News made a little strangely shaped clip on this, and I'm going to show it to you and I'm going to give it some commentary because I'm a bastard like that. Here we go. Yeah, no, it's not me that picked this to start with. Sky starts with this. And apparently this is what this kid said. And I'm to open my arms for him? Listen, I want to have that. I want to give that kid a good life. Seems to me that we're too late already, aren't we? How can we give this kid a good life? He doesn't even know us and he wants to slaughter us. I think his parents fucked him up so far. I'm not sure that we can help this kid. Either we take him away from his parents, which will damage him no end as well, and he already has a lot of damage to start with, or we keep his family together. Okay. Well, if we keep his family together, I don't see how his parents can come back, because his parents produced him. Guess how those parents are thinking? We're not just talking about changing this little kid's mind. We're talking about changing the minds of the parents who, with, I assume, full clarity of thought, say the same thing. This is scary to me. But at the same time, I feel sorry for this kid. And there doesn't seem to be a lot we can do about it. Anyway, continue. Yeah, I'm sorry, the sound is not mine.
Because I'm from Daesh, no? That's why I'm here.
So she knows why she's there. And she's speaking perfectly fine English. So how come she's from Daesh? How did she get there? Well, shouldn't be asking questions like that.
How's it said?
Do you still believe in the ideology of Daesh?
Yes, of course.
Again, do you still believe in the ideology of Daesh? Yes, of course. Are we sure we want to take these people back, my dear viewers? Because if I'm honest, the answer is no. If I'm honest, it's terrible, but I'm sorry. You made your bed. You have to lie in it. Now, do you need to die? Do I want you to die? No, of course not. You can build up a life in whatever Muslim area you want to. Funny enough though, none of the Muslim countries want these people either. And in all fairness, if we look at Syria, the people in Syria kind of want them dead. Which, considering the fact that these people invaded their country with military force and killed a lot of their citizens. So I can understand the people of Syria wanting them dead. And as sick as it may sound, are we to say that it's wrong? Are we to say they're not allowed to seek justice from these aggressors? Because that's what happened. ISIS took over parts of Iraq and Syria, and did so with extreme violence. And now, because they lost, we should take them back. We should deny the people of Iraq and Syria their retribution? I don't know. Not to me. 10,000 of the foreigners who traveled to join the Islamic State want to return because they're now stuck.
From Australia? Yeah?
And their governments are failing to deal with them. Okay, I'm going to pause here again. Some of them have been here for years, left to their own devices. I'm sorry, how is, for example, Australia responsible for the people that went to fight with Daesh? And now that Daesh is lost, how is Russia responsible? Finland? Seriously, don't these people have agency? Again, this is not about them being Muslims. This is about them being murderous bastards. Don't they have agency? To me, the worst thing that can happen is that in the West we indeed are saying, oh no, you know what? Let them return. Let them return to do what? Let them return to do what? To become upstanding citizens? Are we seriously considering that these people will become upstanding citizens? As terrible as it is, and I'm sorry because here we see a small baby in the image that is now still, I know. I feel sorry for the kids. I really feel sorry for the kids. But we can't help them. Because if we let the kids back in, the parents will follow. And the parents are the problem. And some of these kids, we saw the kid at the beginning, they're so indoctrinated already. There is no safe way to let them come back. The best thing we can do, and it's very neo-colonial of me, I know, but the best thing we can do is start a safe area over there for them. And like my old German teacher used to say, build a wall around them, keep them safely inside, and check everyone's if they're still alive, because they will kill each other super fast. It's a nasty thing to say, but bloody hell, people, we don't learn from our history, do we? We simply do not learn from our history. This is not the white man's fault. This is not even black man's fault. This is purely based on a religious ideology that, since its inception, has brought bloodshed to the world. And not just to those who don't believe in their ideology, no, to themselves as well. Sunni and Shia have been at war for 1400 years. There isn't a war out in the history of mankind that has lasted as long as the Sunni-Shia war. Even in Christianity we had a period that the Protestants and the Catholics hated each other. But it didn't last anywhere near as long as this. Anyway, let's continue a bit.
The camp authorities say that further radicalization is taking place in the camp all the time. This is the market area. At one stage, years ago, it was an existing...
Okay, well, this is where internet says I don't want to go on. Fair enough. So they are radicalizing more in the camps. You know what? I have a hard time believing that, Sky News. Because I'm not quite sure how much more radical you can become from throwing kids in big mills and crush them. Because that's what ISIS has done. Burning people alive, selling young girls as sex slaves. I don't know how much more radical than that you can become. So I don't see them radicalizing more. But I know the story is easier like that. No, that it's getting worse and worse and worse. Well, I don't think it's getting worse. I think they came from a very, very poor situation indeed, don't get me wrong. But it's not getting worse. It's getting more open. Because now, we're not just seeing the messages they want us to see. Now we're seeing what they're saying. Now we're seeing the kid at the beginning of your very own video saying, we're going to kill you. I'm sorry, people. I really think it is time to tell our governments, you know what? Don't let them back in. It's terrible, but give them to Syria. Syria has the right to decide what they will do with the enemy combatants in their country. And it's terrible that kids will suffer from this, I know. But it's equally terrible that kids have already suffered by the hands of the very people that are now on the suffering side of things. I don't feel sorry for the people who went to fight for Daesh. I feel sorry for their kids, but I don't see what we can do because they have already been corrupted by them. And if we let in the kids, then there will be someone who says, oh, but then we also have to let in the mother. Well, if we let in the mother, the problem isn't that big. No, you heard these women. Fucking hell. It's sickening. But we really have to close our borders to these people. Do we have to close our borders to Muslims? That's not what I'm saying. Not all, remember. 25% are Sharia compliant, 75% are not. Not all. But the ones that wanted to join Daesh, that wanted to fight for Daesh, or ISIS, or the Caliphate, or whatever you want to call them, yes, those people we seriously cannot use in any Western country. Well, at the risk of repeating myself, this is where I'm going to call it quits because, yeah. Like, share and subscribe if you feel so inclined. I'm really looking forward to hear what you think. Let me know. And I hope to see you all next time.